All right, for this tutorial, we're going to be exploring some of Webflow's dynamic content features. So this is part of their CMS tool, and it's one of the primary benefits of using a tool like Webflow. So we've talked about this before, but many times for even medium-sized websites, there are certain types of content that need to be updated frequently. Even on your own portfolio site, if you're keeping tabs on things, you'll want to post new work to your site. You might want to change, if you have a blog, you might want to add posts. And that kind of content, usually it's difficult to manage with just straight up code. So it helps to have a content management system, which is what CMS stands for, to help you manage those updates. And especially in the case where you're doing this for a client, and you're going to hand off this website to them to maintain. Well, they're not going to be able to write code, and so they're going to need some way to manage that content as well. So Webflow has very robust content management built in, and we'll be exploring what we can do with that. So I think what I want to do here is I've got an empty container. I'm going to try and add a dynamic image gallery to this container. And when I say the word dynamic, what I mean is that it's driven by data. I'm not explicitly adding all the images to this. It's driven by a database of some sort. So if you look at this little CMS icon, let me click on that. You can create a collection. And a collection is just kind of like a list of items that you can render. And you can see they've got templates up here. So you could add like blog posts, categories, projects, clients. And these are just kind of starting templates, but you can create your own too. So let's make one called images. And it'll give it a name and a URL. So every collection will be mapped to a page. You don't necessarily have to use that page, but it will automatically have two fields in it. So name and slug. Slug is just the field for what shows up in the URL. You can see the example here. And then you can add custom fields. So obviously, since this is an image, maybe we should add an image field. And they've got a bunch of different field types that you can explore there. So let's call it image. And you can add some help text. This is just for if your customers are using this to edit things. You could say upload the image for the gallery here or whatever. And you can make that required. So this is what the form looks like. It's giving you a preview of what the editor actually looks like right over here. So we're going to save that field, and then we're going to create the collection right here. All right, we've got no items in here. One of the cool features that Webflow has is it'll generate sample items for you, so you can immediately start using this data. So let's add 5 items for now. It's creating the samples, and you can see it just generated like lorem ipsum. It added some images in there. I can click through these, but I can, of course, edit all this information as well. And this is the same kind of interface that your customers would see as well if they were editing these images. Now, how do we get these images on our site? So let's go back to our page. Well, in our add panel here, we can do this dynamic collection block. So collection list right here, this guy, it's got that little icon on there. Let's drag that in. So there's a few things about this we'll have to think about. First of all, we need to select a source for this collection. Let's select images. And then we need to select a layout. So I'm going to do a grid kind of layout because this is a gallery. You can do all these different things. And then, of course, you can configure some of the stuff over here as well. So next, what do we want to do? We want to have a list of images. Ideally, I want to be able to click these images and view them bigger. So we're going to use a lightbox component. So this is a new component as well. We haven't done this before. Where is it? Lightbox. So we're going to do a lightbox image. We're going to drag it into this first item here. And notice it automatically replicated that in all the items. That's because this is a template. Now we need to link up this lightbox image with our dynamic field. So see all these purple boxes? These are how you map the data in the collection to the component that you're doing. So let's get the image from images. I'm going to select the field, and then blam, there it goes. So yeah, we've got a list of dynamic images here, and let's style it a bit too. So I think it needs some spacing on the top, so let's add some margin top to that, maybe about 20. All right, very good. And so that was really easy. Let's preview this. And I can't click it. Why can't I click it? Let's try to figure that out. So I think let's look at our tag tree here. We've got the Lightbox link here. And do we need to link that? Yeah, so get media from images. We need to link the link as well. Link the link to image. So that a Lightbox link that's the element you click, and that tells it what image to open up. So it's the same image in this case as the image in the list. All right. So like in a proper setup, say you're doing a photography website, and you have really large images, you would want to have a thumbnail version of those images that you're showing in the list, and then a large full-size version of those images that you would show when they click. I'm not doing that in this case just to to keep it simple, but that's why those fields are separate. The image you show is separate from the image that gets linked to. So let's go ahead and preview that. It should work now. Yeah, cool. So I can click on these. Now let's say I wanted to be able to scrub side to side on these two. We can do that, and it's actually pretty easy. All you have to do is check this box here, link with other light boxes, and then give it a name. I could call it like home gallery or something like that. So I'm just giving all those the same group name, and if they are grouped together in a light box, then I can page through them like this, and I get this little handy scrubber. So yeah, it's really pretty straightforward to add a light box like that, and this is completely dynamically driven too, which is really cool because now all I have to do is update my collection here. I can add new images, edit these at any time, and I will get a new page. So let's look at how we might make something like a blog. So they've got a blog post template. I'll just use their template, and the collection name is blog post. The URL is post, has a name, slug, post body, post summary, main image, thumbnail image, feature image, or featured, and color. So it's got a lot of fields in here. We may not use all these. Let's just go ahead and create it, and then we're going to generate. Let's do 10 items this time. So we've got, wow, they actually generate titles in here. I wonder if they're actually pulling this from their own blog. Nope, it's a bunch of lorem ipsum. But anyway, they're giving you like some sample content that we can now use in our layout. So let's say on my homepage, I also wanted to do like a list of blog posts. Let us go ahead and add another container to this page. All right, where am I going to put this? This thing is getting in my way, isn't it? So yeah, this is a little bit hard. Let me make the window bigger. Okay, I'm going to add another container down here at the bottom. And this will be where we put our blog. We're going to do another list, collection list. And we're going to link it to blog posts. And so I've got slots for those. I could limit these posts or I could filter them. So notice that one of the fields that they gave us was this featured field. So if I only on the homepage wanted to show featured blog posts, I believe I could do that by saying featured is on. So this switch, featured is on. So now see, I've only got 4 blog posts showing up on the homepage. Now, of course, we still need to make our template here. So let's give it a heading. All right, we're going to map that to get from blog post. We're going to get that into the name. All right, so we got our heading. Let's make it an H2 since it's kind of on this page here. All right, so now what? Let's add a paragraph under that that summarizes the post. Put that in there, and let's map that to what fields do we have here? Post summary. All right, so there's the post summary. And we probably need to make this a link, right? It needs to go to the post, or maybe we need to add a link in here. Let's add a link. And of course, this is normal Webflow layout stuff, so you could organize this information any way you want to. Let's add a link in here, and let's get the URL from blog posts. Okay, so that should work already. Get URL from blog posts. Okay, how do we do that? Collection page, yeah, choose collection page, current blog post, okay. All right, good. And let's style that link because it's like a weird purple color. All right, and we need to actually edit this link to say something like read more or something like that. All right, and so now we've got these dynamic blog posts coming in. Of course, we probably would want to add like a heading in here to like segment off this section. So featured posts. And since we're using that same collection list component, we could change the layout of that too. So let's experiment. Let's see what it would look like if we do like a 2-column. Yeah, so this is more of like a news style setup. All right, so let's preview this. We got our blog posts in our dynamic gallery now, and we read more, and we go to this collection page. So we haven't actually edited this page. So if this was our blog post landing page, we need to link that up with a layout as well. So I'm just going to do this very quickly. I'm not going to like pay attention to styling too much here. I'm just going to show you how it works. So we need a heading. We're going to link that to blog post. We're doing the same thing we did in the items. And we need rich text, I think, this time. So rich text means just like text that could have images in it, or bold and italic and like formatting kind of stuff. And we need to get that from blog post body. So yeah, we can see there. And of course, like if you were actually doing this, you would want to make it match your main site style. Like we'd want to add our components in here, like our symbols for nav or whatever. Yeah, I could add my header in, set the background, all that stuff. And then you would need a back button too to go back to the previous page. But let's go ahead and preview again. So this is our blog template layout. Cool thing about this is I can switch posts right up here in the menu to see like what they all look like. And I believe actually these had a dynamic image too, so we could add that in as well. Let's go ahead and add an image block up here at the top. And let's map that to get image from the blog post, main image. There we go. So now we've got a dynamic image in here, and then when we change it, we should see that swap out as well. So anyway, this is just like a very functional demo. I'm not trying to make it look good, obviously. But that kind of dynamic content can be really helpful for all kinds of things like blogs, events, galleries, kind of any kind of content you can imagine being needed on a conventional website. There are plenty of more tutorials about this. That was just the basics. The Webflow University has a bunch of lessons you can go through on dynamic content and how you can use that in your designs. So that's it for now.